compete on the 55th season of the Nordson Academic Challenge. Here we go, everybody. Welcome and thank you for joining us as we continue to celebrate the 55th season of the Nordson Academic Challenge. I am your host, Rob Powers. The challenge of the show is the same as it's always been. 3 local high school teams compete for points by answering questions, math, science, history, a few other topics as well. Let's hear it one more time for today's teams. It's Kirtland, Lutheran West, and North Royalton. Each team's playing for a chance to make it onto our leaderboard, and at the end of the season, the 3 teams at the top of the leaderboard will be right back here to play for our grand prize of a $6,000 grant for their school awarded by Nordson and be crowned the champions of our 55th season. Let's get this game started where we start every Saturday morning. It's the lightning round. All 3 teams compete in this round. We award 20 points for a correct answer. We subtract 20 points for an incorrect or no answer. This match is going to start, each team with 100 points. Everybody set? Here we go. This is kid stuff, literally. Some people make history as teenagers or even younger. Identify the following. A boy king of Egypt. His tomb was found in 1922. Kirtland.
Tut.
Excuse me?
King Tut.
That is correct. At age 16, he wrote music for A Midsummer's Night Dream. Lutheran West.
Shakespeare.
Mendelssohn. Felix Mendelssohn, the answer. Called the Maid of Orleans, she led French armies but was burned. North Royalton.
Joan of Arc.
That is correct. As a boy in ancient Macedon, he tamed the horse. North Royalton.
Alexander the Great.
That is correct. She wrote a history of England at 15 before writing Pride and Prejudice. Kirtland.
Jane Austen.
That is correct. In 1821, this French teenager devised the system enabling blind people to read. North Royalton.
Braille.
That is correct. This biblical hero was just a youth when he killed Goliath. Kirtland.
David.
That is correct. She was a teenager when she started writing Frankenstein. North Royalton.
Mary Shelley.
That is correct. Only 16 when he was crowned Russia's Tsar. He was later called the Terrible. Lutheran West.
Ivan.
That is correct. For our final lightning round question, with us this morning, the president and CEO of the Natural History Museum, Sonia Winter.
At the Cleveland Museum of Natural History, we offer paid internships to teenagers. This is just one of the many programs we've instituted since the museum was established. In what year? 2 years after the end of World War I.
North Royalton.
1920.
1920 is correct. Nice round, everybody. That's the way to get this thing started. We'll be back with more of the 55th season of the Nordson Academic Challenge right after this.
Nordson is honored to sponsor a program that celebrates academic excellence. We're a global industrial technology company with a long and proud history of giving back to the communities where we live and work. We donate 5% of our U.S. pre-tax profit to charity every year. Over the past 30 years, the Nordson Corporation Foundation has donated more than $100 million, and our employees have volunteered more than 100,000 hours. And now, we're pleased to support the legacy of Academic Challenge. Thank you all for watching, and the best of luck to all the participants.
Welcome back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. If you'd like more information about any of the schools that appear this season, scan the QR code you see on the upper right-hand corner of your screen with your cell phone. That code takes you to news5cleveland.com's Academic Challenge page. We have links for all of this season's schools' websites right there. Time for us now to play Hot Picks. One at a time, I ask each team 8 questions. A correct response here is worth 20 points. No penalty for a wrong answer here. Any team answering all 8 questions correctly will receive 25 bonus points. But before we get to the questions, we've got to meet our players. We start with Kirtland. Charlie, you are the captain. What do we need to know about you, Charlie?
I'm a sophomore, and I play soccer, basketball, and run track.
Welcome this morning. Hi, Bo.
Hi, I'm the junior field commander of the Kirtland Marching Band, and I'm the lead CAD modeler of our robotics team.
Welcome to you. Hi, Liam.
I'm a senior. I'm a member of the track and football team, and I was the homecoming king this year.
There you go. Royalty in our presence. Welcome to all 3 of you. For your questions, Kirtland, we go to the captain of Lutheran West, Cohen. Envelope 1, 2, 3, or 4?
3.
3. All righty. Kirtland, these questions are all yours. All set? Here we go. Not many people were able to escape from Pompeii when what nearby volcano erupted in 79 AD?
Vesuvius.
That is correct. Scientists wore black armbands in October of 1994 when they guided the Magellan spacecraft toward its planned demise on what planet, second from the sun?
Venus.
Venus is correct. Though he trained as a goldsmith, what 15th century German is generally credited as the first European to develop movable type for the printing press?
It's Gutenberg.
Gutenberg is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Which of these terms refers to the process whereby water is decomposed by passing an electric current through it?
Electrolysis.
That is correct. Called the Wizard of Ooze by his critics, William Randolph Hearst was accused of publishing sensational news reports that led to what 1898 war?
Spanish American.
That is correct. Heroes usually kill dragons, but in what Anglo-Saxon epic does a dragon kill the hero who had previously slain the monster Grendel?
Beowulf.
That is correct. We go back to the monitor. Here's your math question. We ask you to evaluate this expression, giving your answer as a positive integer.
18.
That is correct, and that was big. This is for the bonus points. Here we go. A massive earthquake in 2010 demolished much of the National Palace in what capital city of Haiti? Answer?
Kingston? I don't know.
Port-au-Prince is the answer, but nice round, Kirtland. Way to go. Okay. Our second team today comes to us from Lutheran West. Cohen, you are the captain. Tell us about yourself.
I'm a junior. I'm a member of the wrestling and soccer team, and I've been the captain of the academic challenge team for 2 years.
There you go. Well, congratulations on that. I knew you looked familiar. Hi, Cassie.
Hi, I'm a senior. I'm a part of book club. Next year, I'm going to attend Bowling Green, and I would like to thank our advisors, Mr. Dittmar and Mrs. Slack, for supporting us.
Well, I'm sure they appreciate that, and we have a falcon in our presence. Good for you. Hi, Bella.
Hi. Hi, I'm Isabella. I'm a junior. I'm involved in the Honors Academy at Lutheran West Environmental Club. I'm a member of the Academic Challenge team. I want to thank all the friends and family for coming out here and supporting us.
Good for you. Okay. Your questions, Lutheran West, come courtesy of Grady from North Royalton. Grady, envelope 1, 2, or 4?
4.
4. All right, Lutheran West, these questions are all yours. All set? Here we go. There are over 900 streets in the U.S. and Puerto Rico named for what civil rights leader assassinated in 1968?
Martin Luther King Jr.
That is correct. Giacomo Puccini celebrated the success of his opera La Bohème by buying what two-wheeled vehicle featured in the Tour de France?
A bicycle.
That is correct. The first pirate ship to enter Chesapeake Bay was sighted in 1610, just 3 years after the founding of what first permanent English settlement in Virginia?
Jamestown.
That is correct. Let's go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Which of these terms refers to the production of light by a variety of deep sea fish, marine animals, and certain insects?
Bioluminescence.
That is correct. The Things They Carried, both physical and emotional, is a novel about soldiers fighting in what Asian war that ended with the fall of Saigon in 1975? Answer?
The Korean War.
Vietnam War. The Vietnam War is the answer there. That's okay. In Carol Chopik's play R.U.R., the second R stands for what word meaning a mechanical man?
Robot.
That is correct. Back to the monitor. Here's your math question. We ask you to evaluate this expression for x equals 4. Answer?
8.
Excuse me?
8.
Zero is the answer. Zero is the answer. That's okay. The code name Volunteer was used by the Secret Service for what 36th president who worked with many volunteers during his long political career? Answer? The answer is Lyndon Johnson. Nice round, Lutheran West. All right, that brings us to North Royalton now. Grady, you're the captain of North Royalton. You again look familiar. Welcome back.
Thank you. I am a member of the cross-country track and mock trial teams, and I want to thank my family and our advisor for their support.
Okay. Hi, Albert. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm a member of the Science Olympiad, Model UN, and Marching Band, and I would like to thank my parents and our advisors for helping us.
Good for you. William, good morning.
I'm a member of the cross-country team, and I'm a member of National Honor Society. I would like to thank my parents for being here, as well as my advisor, Mr. Kish.
Awesome. Okay, good job, North Royalton, for your questions. Charlie, you're the captain of Kirtland. We have envelope 1 or 2 left.
2.
2. It's a big move, whatever you pick. Here we go. Scotland's Robert the Bruce allegedly learned patience from what same kind of arachnid that frightened Little Miss Muffet?
A spider.
That is correct. The 15th paper in the Federalist series refers to the weakness of what articles that preceded the Constitution as our country's governing document?
The Articles of Confederation.
That is correct. Though you might expect the Plains of Abraham to be in the Middle East, they are actually near what French-speaking Canadian city?
Quebec.
That is correct. We go to the monitor. Here's your science question. Which of these is the largest moon of the planet Jupiter?
Ganymede.
That is correct. A tyrant who wanted to stay in power could get some good advice from what book written in 1517 by Machiavelli?
The Prince.
That is correct. Hemingway's The Old Man and the Sea was published in 1952, the same year as what Ralph Ellison novel that also has the word man in its title? Answer?
The Man on the Moon.
Invisible Man is the answer. That's all right. We go back to the monitor. Here is your math question. Evaluate this expression, giving your answer as a positive integer.
One.
1 is correct. 2 previously unknown mammals, a giant rat and a tiny possum, have been discovered in what Pacific Island country whose capital is Jakarta?
Indonesia.
Indonesia is correct. Nice round, everybody. That's the end of that one. We'll be back with more academic excitement right after this. Paired. It is time to say hello to today's judge from Cuyahoga Community College, Dr. Kip Kurtz, adjunct instructor in the Religious Studies program at Tri-C. Dr. Kurtz, thank you so much for being here this morning. Alrighty, we move on now. We come back to the Nordson Academic Challenge. This is time to go head-to-head once again. This is our picture-perfect round. Every correct answer here is worth 20 points. For a wrong answer or no answer, though, we take away 20 points. This is for all 3 teams. Eyes on the monitor here down front and hands on the buzzer. All set? Here we go. This is what brilliant young general who commanded American forces at the 1776 Battle of Valcour, but later attempted to betray West Point? North Royalton.
Benedict Arnold.
That is correct. When he was 25, Frederick Church painted this landscape titled Scenery of what group of 6 northeastern states? North Royalton.
New England.
That is correct. This is Captain Juan de Elcano, who actually completed the circumnavigation of the world begun by what 16th century Portuguese Kirtland?
Magellan.
That is correct. Evaluate this expression, giving your answer as a positive integer. Answer? Kirtland.
4.
4 is correct. Fortresses like this were constructed along the Silk Road at regular intervals, approximately 1 day's ride by what animal that can be Bactrian or Lutheran West?
Camel.
That is correct. In this formula for the ideal gas law, what does P stand for? North Royalton.
Pressure.
Yes, it is. This 17th century map shows the Åland Islands, which are now part of what Nordic country whose capital is Helsinki? North Royalton.
Finland.
That is correct. This issue of Cleveland Magazine spotlights local high school basketball, so you might know that the width of a regulation OHSAA basketball court is how many feet? Equal to 5 squared times 2. Kirtland.
50.
50 feet is correct. There you go. That's the end of that round. That was quick. Don't go anywhere. Our grab bag round's coming up after we mix it up. Stick around.
Good morning, Cleveland.
Let's say hello to our advisors, Mariah Duncan from Kirtland, Andrew Dittmar from Lutheran West, and Matt Kish from North Royalton. And we welcome you back to the big show. Time for us to mix it up. One at a time, I ask each team 6 questions. A correct response here worth 20 points. No penalty for a wrong answer. Any team answering all 6 questions correctly receives 25 bonus points. Kirtland, you're up first. All set? Here we go. You won't have to abandon anything if you find in this phrase the name of what pack animal, sometimes called a burro.
Donkey.
That is correct. Which 2 of these 4 words are opposite in meaning?
Volatile and stable.
That is correct. It was on this date that forces from North Korea temporarily captured what city, the capital of South Korea?
Seoul.
That is correct. No, he didn't. Fix this statement. Change one word. What word would you change? What word would you change it to?
Monster to Odyssey.
That is correct. Which of these countries does not share a land border with Afghanistan?
Saudi Arabia.
That is correct, and that is big. This is for the bonus points. This unenlightened attitude toward education was expressed by what French monarch known as the Sun King?
Louis the 14th.
Louis the 14th is right for the bonus points, Kirtland. Way to go. Way to go. All right, Lutheran West, you're up next. All set? These questions all yours. Instead of waking up sleeping heroes, find in this phrase the name of what wild equine animal found in Africa?
Zebra.
That is correct. Which 2 of these 4 words are antonyms? Answer?
Preclude and prolong.
Prolong and curtail is the answer. The country moved closer to civil war on this date when the Supreme Court handed down its decision in what fugitive slave case? Answer?
No guess.
The Dred Scott case. Not quite on this one. Change one word here. Make the statement correct. What word would you change? What would you change it to?
Breaking to looking.
Glass into dawn. A person's right to legal counsel is specifically guaranteed by which of these amendments to the Constitution?
6th.
6th is correct. Although proverbially, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, this phrase refers to what sensory organs that include the tympanum and stapes?
Stomach?
The ears, the ears. All right, Lutheran West. All righty. North Royalton, now you. All set? Here we go. You'll earn an amazing 20 points if you can find in this sentence the name of what chief Greek god, the equivalent of the Roman Jupiter?
Zeus.
That is correct. Which 2 of these 4 words are best paired as opposite in meaning?
Boisterous and sedate.
That is correct. This was a hot day in the history of exploration. It was the day Robert Peary and Matthew Henson reached what very cold spot at 0 degrees longitude?
The North Pole.
That is correct. Not exactly on this one. Correct this statement. Change one word. What would you change? What would you change it to?
Pizza to mice.
That is correct. Since Arkansas is nicknamed Land of Opportunity, which of these places would you have the opportunity to visit if you were in Arkansas?
The Ozark Mountains.
That is correct. That was big. Here's for the bonus points. This quiet statement made by Adlai Stevenson, who lost 2 elections to what World War II general, our 34th president?
Eisenhower.
Eisenhower's correct for the bonus points. There you go. That's the end of that round. We'll be back with our final deciding grab bag round right after this.
Deal.
Time now for the grab bag round. This is for all 3 teams. 30 points for a correct answer. We will take away 30 points for a wrong or an incorrect answer. This is it, everybody. All set? Here we go. May 31st, officially dedicated to what kind of colorful, talkative bird that is the pet of Long John Silver in Robert Louis, North Royalton?
Parrot.
Parrot's correct. What number constitutional amendment is nicknamed the Lame Duck Amendment? Answer is the 20th. William the Conqueror gave his eldest son what French province invaded by Allied forces? Kirtland.
Normandy.
That is correct. This is a drawing of a water screw believed to have been invented in the 3rd century BC by what Greek mathematician and scientist? Kirtland.
Aristotle.
Archimedes is the answer. Archimedes. In 1785, Jean-Pierre Blanchard. That's it. That's our final buzzer. We go right to the scores. Here we go. In 3rd place this morning with 260 points is the team from Lutheran West. In 2nd place with 505 points is the team from Kirtland. And the winner of today's academic challenge with 595 points, it is the team from North Royalton. There you go. Be with us next week. Teams from Brecksville, Broadview Heights, Hudson, and North Olmsted will be right here. Thanks for watching this one. I am Rob Powers, and we'll see you right back here next week.